Beginning of a term, you are provisioning your gradebook with your final assessments per standard. And you can actually go to import assignment and go to your own writing with evidence or whatever your standard is and import it. And then you can just change the name and the category. So if I go into this one, I want to make sure developing and using models final assessment is also here. But if I'm importing these assessments over, I still have summative, I still have the same dates, and I still have the same scores. So it might be easier for you to just import your assignment, but you have to make sure that your category and that your name match. All right. Now, the next thing we want to do is isolate standard scores. So we're going to go back to our scores by class, and we're going to, we have the filters still checked there, so I can go to writing. Well, let's do the developing using models this time. All right. So I've pulled that over and I have these scores. Now, what's the easiest way to get these into the final assessment? This is end of term. So beginning of term, provision with all the assignments that are final assessments per standard. At the end of the term, you want to go in and filter and get your totals and adjust them if they need altering for progress or decline, or leave them as is. Then you can go up and you can print this. This is a mock sandbox grade book, so I only have 5 students here, but you would get a page of students, and you might have to print it a couple times moving that. But that would be one way. I mean, you might not get all the students. It depends on the size of your class and how the printer is working. Or you can just copy that down in a grade book, an old-fashioned paper grade book, and then transfer it over. Copy and paste is going to be too hard because you'd be going back and forth to your filters. Now, what about adding these scores at the end of the term? One thing I would do is, first off, I'd clear my filters here, go back to the way we are. So things are sorted by dates or by number on assignment, and I have my 2 final assessments here. So what I want to do is go to manage. I want to go to options. It's the end of the term. I want to keep things easier here. Um, and this is the percentage I have right now. Maybe I'm going to change it. I can go back and forth. I can weigh more or less, or I can weigh 100% here. But now I'm going to go down to sort, and I'm going to do descending by due date so that I bring the last dates in first. And that's all I have to do. I just have to now go back up to scores by class, and I'm not going to have to dig around and look for those because these are my end of term assessments, and they're going to be at the front here. And so I will get my scores and then I will just add them here. All right. And those would be my, and it's not these scores because that's your total for everything. But this is what you'll have. And when you have those scores, make sure that they're summative, make sure that they are that the writing using evidence, that these things match. And then you're going to go and do one more thing. First, I would say hide the gradebook before you actually add those scores. And how do you hide the gradebook? That's also under options, because we know that students at the end of the term and parents at the end of the term are very anxious sometimes. So hide this gradebook from parents and students while you're doing these final grades, but remember to open them up again when you're finished. Okay, I'm going to go back to scores by class, and I am filling out my grades here. And these are my, I don't have to turn them blue yet. I don't have to, is grading complete yet. I could keep them color sorted here so that I know they haven't been changed. But now what I want to do is look at these here. I've got my scores over here for all my standards, and I want to look at these are my assignments, and this is formative and this is summative. I want to go back to manage. And now when I'm ready to do my final grades, I do want to change this to 100% summative and 0 formative. And if you feel that you're leaving off some assignments, remember that your totals that are going to go here represent whatever you had before. So if you had formative counting for something, it has been counted in this score. What you're doing is you're doing a clean slate here. You're just showing one score per standard, and yet it is a score that has encompassed whatever you did during the term. But now I want to make sure everything is formative that I've done. So I'm going to go in and edit, and I'm going to just quickly change it, save and close, and go to the next. I'm going to go all the way down and make sure that everything is turned to an F at the top. And that means I have to have this showing so I can easily find that. And all the summatives are going to be changed to an F, and then all of these are going to be zeroed out as far as do they count toward the final grade. They won't, but they will show up under formative as a total so that parents can see what the formative work was and how that was scored. And then once that is done, then I'm going to go through and is grading complete? And then I'm going to go back to manage, and I'm going to unhide that grade book. So if it was hidden before, I'm going to unhide it. And then what you have showing up for scores are just the scores that counted for the final assessment of standards, filtered standards.